allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you wouldn't mind standing, please stand in. I would like to take a moment of silence for all these deaths. Let's just take a minute for a second. Okay. Thanks, guys. Okay. Today is Monday, August the 5th. The time is 5 p.m. The meeting of the Greensburg Board of Works is now called to order. At this time, please silence electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary, anonymous survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. Over there. Roll call, please.
Carol Perkins. Here. Rick Enslover.
Here.
Glenn Teddy.
Here.
And Daryl Poland.
Here. All right. Next, we have the approval of the minutes from July the 1st, 2019. All of you should have received that, and if you looked over to see any corrections, anything that you need. Need a motion to pass the minutes from last meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, seconded.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So passes. Thank you. Old business, Mark Carman, please. Tree City Fall Festival stage update.
Contrary to popular belief, I did not come to challenge the mayor to a race down the hallway.
Yeah, he did. I don't have my cane though.
We have had problems getting the information that you guys were requesting on the drilling of the stakes for the stage for the Fall Festival, so we are going to withdraw that drilling of the stakes, and we're going to get a stage similar to what we had last year. So it basically will be the same. It'll be weighted down with counterweights instead of drilling into the asphalt. Won't be any issues there.
Still for the purpose, huh?
Same purpose.
A little bit smaller.
It'll follow state guidelines and all the safety regulations and everything.
So we need, right now, we still need approval, or did we do approval? No, we didn't do approval.
Yeah, we did approve.
So you can have a motion.
Related, right, so, I would move to approve the request for closure of parts of the square for the Fall Festival, September the
20th, 21st. We would like to close Washington Broadway on Thursday night at 6 o'clock to set the stage. Leave everything else open. Won't close anything else until 6 a.m. Friday morning.
I'll second the motion.
to include the Thursday night.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Will you contact the courts
Yes.
and let them
Yes.
know as soon as you can?
Yes.
The
I've
21st.
contacted the funeral homes already, and I'll get with
Okay.
the court system and let them know.
So the employees know that they're not gonna be able to park here Friday.
Yep. We will do that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
So, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Come to see us at the festival.
We'll do it.
Hello? Critical.
He didn't say
So
electronic devices.
that takes care of all the old business. New business, Sara, from ARA. Contract for labor standards for water plant project. You have the
I
agreement in
think
front of you.
your attorneys have a chance to look at them, but basically, we're bringing the, contract for ARA to do the labor standards for the water project. I don't think that the engineering firm necessarily wanted to do that. I read about it in the newspaper. I know that we did the labor standards for the water treatment plant improvements, last year, or finished that up last year.
The sewer.
Sewer.
Yeah, but this would be for the water, the new water project that you guys are doing, the surface water. It's $10,000 for the total project, for us to do the labor standards. I don't know if you guys know what that means exactly, but in essence, since it's a federal project and SRF is funding it, there will be a prevailing wage decision that will go with that project. And that will set a minimum compensation schedule for all the workers who work on that project. And somebody has to regulate that. So basically, what Tara and I will do is that we will work together with all the subcontractors and with the prime contractor to make sure that they certify who's gonna be, what kind of labor classifications, laborers, operators, electricians, et cetera, who are gonna be working on the project. And then they will certify how they will be paying those people. We'll compare that to what the wage decision says. And then beyond that, there are some labor interviews that have to be conducted where we actually go out and we meet with the laborer, or we meet with a plumber and on the site, and we do some basic Department of Labor interviews that just says, what's your labor classification? What are you doing on the job? Do you know what your pay is, et cetera? And we compare that to the payrolls. We'll get all the certified payrolls for that project, and we'll compare that. So basically, it's just compiling a lot of paperwork so that we can say that during the project, everyone was paid according to the correct wage, and the Department of Labor will be satisfied with that, and SRF can say that the project was in compliance with those rules and regulations. So we'll be the paper pushers. In essence, we'll do all the certifying up front. We will have all the subcontractors, and we'll work together with the prime. It basically, obviously everybody wants to do what they're supposed to on the job. We're just working in conjunction with that. So it'll be $6,000 for the initial paperwork, and then when the project is complete, SRF will ask us the compliance questions. We'll certify the project was done in compliance. Ashley will get a big packet of paper from us certifying that everybody was in compliance, and then you guys will pay us a final $4,000 for a total of 10, if you agree.
Standard.
Right.
That's.
Got it, yeah.
Yeah. They're making sure that everybody's.
So I take a motion to accept the ARA proposal for the contract for water plant.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any other questions for Sara? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Can I give these to you?
Sure.
There's 3 copies, so you can have 3 originals. The back page requires your signature, and the
Okay.
actual will attest, and then Eric in our office will sign it.
Doesn't matter what color pen. Okay, now we have Tara from ARA for Main Street, number 4. We're looking pretty good up there.
Yes, it is.
Looks like it's moving along quite well,
Yes.
so.
Yes, so this is pay application number 4. It's for $74,716.77. All of this money will be drawn down from the state, from the grant funds to pay for it. And with our meeting that we had with Brad the other day, everything is moving along great, and he expects to have substantial completion by September 1st, which means that's when the punch list and the architect will come back down and make sure everything's good.
Wide open, it's like second week of September.
I can't say that for sure, it just
I
depends on how
wouldn't-
many.
Don't
I'm
jinx
not
it.
gonna say, I'm not gonna say anything.
I kept saying all the time. Yeah,
I
we'll be
meant
here.
next year.
No, not
No, we can't do that.
That's worse.
Thank you for the reminder.
She didn't want to commit.
I know. That's good. So I need a motion to pay out this, $78,649,
$74,000.
$74,716.77. That's a long call.
So moved.
Second? Okay, any other questions? Okay, thanks. Okay, Chief Bridges. The 2020 summer camp. Oh, and Assistant Chief.
McNeely, he's taking
McNeely's
care of something
here.
else here for a
He's a
second.
tech.
Yes. Including your packets, and if somebody got, did you guys all get my monthly reports? I wasn't sure if I accidentally gave somebody a copy of the meeting agenda instead. I don't know. Okay.
You did?
No, I'm good. I got plenty of that, of those and that. In the package, you received what we had talked about earlier with the youth camp that we were looking at possibly doing. After kind of digging into it, we knew that that was something we were not going to be able to get done in 2019. So we took our time, we spoke with other agencies and that, and I wanted to include in the packet the application that will be sent out, and we are looking to have the 2020 sixth graders and fifth graders that will be participating in this program. It also has a waiver for the parents, and then on the third page you actually see a rundown of the program from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Those categories, what we have put in there, they are not set on stone, or set in stone, and I know one of them somebody might have a question on is how we have firearms in there. More than likely that will just be a firearms safety class. We're not actually going to take them out and shoot firearms and that. But like I said, so yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to let you guys know what we're looking at doing here. And again, everything pretty much will be taught by the police department. I do have one day which I will be speaking with the fire chief. I've already kind of gave him a little bit of a heads up a couple months ago about this, and they should be good with assisting in that. But again, have the fire department also help out with maybe a half a day or a day of instructing in that. There will be a graduation at the end. So like I said, it's just kind of a week of where these kids can kind of see what it might be like to get involved with law enforcement and that. And the city attorney received a copy also, so I will let him look that over, make sure there's no issue with the liability forms or anything like that. But I just want to, I guess, throw that in front of you guys to make sure you were good with what you were seeing at this time.
What time of the year are you looking?
We're June.
June.
Yeah.
In what location?
Most of it will be held at the police department in our training room. Some stuff will be off-site. We were talking about maybe taking the kids fishing one time for a little bit of it, and then switching off, maybe doing some archery. I would be speaking with the Greensburg Elementary, who owns a lot of the archery equipment, to kind of give them a break to do that. A lot of our officers are involved with the fishing and archery, so we'll give them that one-on-one time with the kids, kind of a mentor, but also just to kind of get to know us a little bit better and what we're doing. So that's what I'm looking at there.
It sounds like a great program.
Yeah.
How many children do you think you can accommodate?
For the first year, I would hope that we would maybe be able to do 15.
Oh,
I would get with Tom Hunter with the schools and see if it's okay if we maybe use one of their mini buses if we do need to do type of transport. Both Bruce Koppel and Jared McAlvin are certified and have passed a test to where they are able to drive those mini buses. So that would be something we would look at for transportation. More than likely, morning or drop off and pickup would be the responsibility of the parent, and anything during the day again would be the responsibility of us. So.
It does look very good. My first thought, and again, I only just scanned it, I didn't scrutinize it at all, but it looks pretty ambitious in terms of the number of days and the amount of time you're given to certain things seem to be either very generous, and I did, the old school teacher in me says, you better have some, I guess I would caution you to go shorter than longer. Either have great lesson plans, or, and in this case too, in terms of the number of days you're doing this, you know, I'm not saying not to, I'm just
Right.
saying you might want to think through this pretty carefully about how much time you're gonna need, because right now, you've got just broad outline.
Right.
When you start putting detail to it, what you're gonna have to do, you may need to adjust.
Correct.
on
Absolutely.
operating.
I can see like the K9 demo, right now I have that for half an hour. I can easily see that going maybe 45 minutes to an hour. If you bring in the narcotic side plus the bite work plus the tracking and stuff like that.
The other things in there looked like it was stretching.
Yes, right. And like I said, we know that we would definitely like have to allow the bomb squad, which we've already talked to Columbus. Columbus has already said that they'd be more than happy to come over and assist with that program with us. So yeah, it's definitely gonna have to be a lesson plan, and I can tell you that most of the officers that will be instructing have already went through instructor development through law enforcement, and they actually have to do lesson plans and all that to actually pass that course. So that is something that we will be asking for them, is to make sure it's a generally outlined deal.
That's,
So,
I
right.
just wanted to make sure you didn't get ahead of yourself
Right.
there a little bit.
Nope, understood. That's why I'm glad that we ended up not doing it this year, because I think it would have been just too much of a rush, and we have time to actually put this into place. So.
Well, I don't know if you're aware of it, I was at the Indiana State Police Career Camp, one of the first members of that group. So I went to a camp, but we stayed overnight
Yeah.
at Lafayette. So, but that's been a couple years ago. Yeah, I think I was a 7th or 8th grader when I did that program, but that was the first one, and it's kept growing.
I know that the Indiana State Police does similar things still.
Right,
They have
right,
that camp,
right, they still
as
have.
well as for the younger,
Right.
targeting, or younger age group, that same age group that you're targeting, that they do at different colleges and do it overnight, a couple nights.
And I know a lot of your larger departments, they actually have kids that are maybe high school age, where they can devote more officers, and that's another thing that we kind of looked at is, you know, with our department, you know, trying to devote that many. We'll be utilizing a lot of our day shift and afternoon shift guys to come in and help out with this, so.
Well, this is why I'm so excited about this, because I think it's important to start getting these kids out here. You know, I think someday we'll have one in the fire department and have a summer class, or maybe, you know, where they combine.
Yeah, I think it's a combined idea, it's a good idea.
So, but this is a good direction. Thank you.
Not a
Probably
problem.
appreciate it.
Next on the list, is it the ComStat?
Yeah.
Okay, like I said, I lost my agenda already. So there's been a couple times this year that I have given you separate reports that show ComStat, and I've had a couple people ask me, why are we, what does this mean? Why are we handing it out and everything? So this program is something that we really started utilizing this year, which is part of our Spillman CAD system that we run in our vehicles and dispatch runs. One thing that I'm going to have the Assistant Chief Mike McNeely do is just kind of show you how we're trying to put our officers in the best spot, maybe at the right time, to cut down on criminal activity, or if we are seeing a lot of criminal activity, why we are putting our officers in a certain area. That way, if the community comes to us, we can sit there and say, this is why officers are here, this is why officers are here. And just as of today, today was not a good day for us. We had, as I left to go home, we were already on our 45th call. And that, unfortunately, we had a large number of vehicle break-ins last night, north of First Street and more to the northeast, North Broadway, North Franklin, northeast, and up into the Northgate area. Unfortunately, like I said, that it's been a busy day for us, so we've been dealing with that. But again, with us having this type of data, it's going to allow our officers maybe to go into what time, what area, and to hit those areas a little bit more closer than that. One thing is what he will show is once we plan all this information out, we can actually utilize this on a overall Google Earth map. And I will let Mr. McNeely show that. I don't know why it keeps cutting in and out.
So the first thing to kind of take a look at here is we're going to make this accessible to our patrol officers, where they can come in each night, log in. You can change the date range so they can see what's happened in the last 24 hours, the last week, the last 30 days, 120 days, and year-to-date comparisons as well. Here below my cursor, it kind of has just a generalized, we split the city into quadrants using the mapping that we've used for years and years and years on Broadway and Main Street. So we have a northeast, a northwest, a southeast, and southwest. And so they can quickly look at that. And then on this here, it shows, so we're looking at a 30-day comparison. We were looking at a 30-day comparison.
We thought we had it.
There it is. So they can kind of go down through here, and each of these colored lines represents a different breakdown. And it shows it here, so alarms, crashes, crimes against police, drug offenses, traffic, juvenile and property crimes. And they can kind of see, as the month has gone on, what's gone up, what's gone down. And then from there, they can scroll down, and they can see how many we've had of each. So when it comes back up,
I like electronics.
so they can come down here. So the last 30 days, we've had 36 alarm calls, 36 crash reports, 4 crimes against police, 59 drug offenses, 33 juvenile reports. And this is not all that we track. These are the ones that the patrol guys might be more interested in as they come in and start their shift day. Beyond that, they can also hit the map in Google Earth, and it will create a mapping file that I'll open up. Okay, so it brings up a heat map, and so what we can do by breaking down this heat map is we can individualize each of these, and the guys can quickly see, if we've had property crimes, if they want to generalize the last 30 days of what property crimes have been. I'll bring it over to you. check on each box and they can bring up all the property crimes. If they want to see all the crashes, they can do that as well. And you can just see how it pops these up. So the guys can either on their own start looking at the different areas to start patrolling heavier, which is what we started doing this year. We started printing out these heat maps. We've done a lot for our thefts this year and trying to combat all the thefts that we're having. And then our sergeants have access to even more. So what we'll show you is what our sergeants and lieutenants have access to is they can come over here. Oh, patrol guys will only see this. Our sergeants and lieutenants can come over here and they can pull up more like by nature. So nature is what a call gets put into the system as. So if someone called in, let's say theft, they get to put in as a theft, and we can click here, and it's going to pull up all of the calls that we have so far listed here. Right now we're 100,000 or 1,090 calls or so. And so they can go here, look at theft. Right now we're 10 thefts up in the last 30 days compared to the previous 30 days. And they can actually drill down on this even further. So it'll actually show the day, the time that these are occurring. You actually go in and they can quickly do a synopsis of each call just by clicking on it. It shows just a very short summary of what happened. So that's how we're getting some of this data that you guys have been seeing, as well as the guys like to see over here who's leading with calls, who's leading with arrests, stuff like that. So they get kind of happy about seeing their name towards the top of the list.
I changed that to HDMI. I don't know if that'll make a difference or not. So one thing that, another reason why I brought this in is because over the last month, like Assistant Chief McNeely stated, was a very large number of narcotics arrests. In the last month, we've made over 60 narcotics arrests, and that throughout the city. And at this time this year from last year, we are actually up 25 OWIs in that. So like I said, this is what we are doing to try to put, like I said, put our officers in the right spot at the right time, to show them, you know, where they might want to be, if we have any traffic concerns, where we can actually put officers and all that. Another program that this will do is, so if somebody says, man, we had a lot of break-ins last night, you know, where were your officers at? We can actually go in and we can actually track where our officers were patrolling last night. And that, so we did a check, officers were out. Unfortunately, they were just in areas where that was not occurring. And that, so again, it's just stuff that we're looking at. Thefts, you will see a major increase in thefts this year. Part of the reason for that is the way we are classifying. Theft of all other property and theft of shoplifting, a lot of that is occurring at Walmart. So that's why you see a large spike in thefts, is because a lot of our thefts are coming from the 790 Greensburg Commons area. And that, and again, once he throws that map on, if you look at P2, that is Walmart, and there's a white circle around Walmart, and you're going to have that with thefts and accidents, because again, that's a area to where we are responding to a lot of calls in that. So, but again, this will be up afterwards if anybody has any questions and wants to speak with us a little bit more on it. I just want to kind of explain where we are this year compared to last year. Our numbers, calls for service and arrest are actually down, but our quality of arrest are actually going up, and that's with the narcotics and the OWIs. A lot of our young guys are through the training that I spoke about 2 years ago about we got so young so quick that we had to send officers off to training. Those officers are coming back, and that's again why you were starting to see the higher quality of arrest. It's like I told a lot of our young guys when I started 17 years ago, 18 years ago now, our biggest thing was looking for public intox and headlights out, and today unfortunately we are looking at possession of marijuana, possession of methamphetamine, and heroin. So times definitely have changed, and we just want to let everybody know in the community, if there is a concern in their neighborhood, please, again, I'll just lead that into the next part with tomorrow's National Night Out. Again, that's why we are pushing National Night Out, is because we want people in the community to come and talk to us, ask why we're doing what we're doing or why we're in a certain area. And if we don't know about an area, again, the public's going to be our best resource on when and where we need to be there. So again, we invite anybody to come out to the National Night Out tomorrow, North Park, from 5 p to 8 p. Because again, we want to talk to the community and we want to find out what their concerns are so we can better serve them. So does anybody have any questions on this program or anything? Okay, thank you very much.
Where we at on the IT?
IT, that will be up, that's coming in the next meeting for the first additional appropriation. If that is approved tonight by the council, then at that point in time, you guys will receive a, and I can go ahead and forward you, I can't remember if I already did forward you guys the job description in that, but that's actually going in front of the council tonight. The first part will more than likely, after speaking with the mayor, I believe, be coming on public safety for this year. And then next year, that's a discussion I believe he's gonna have with the council. And that, he's been talking with the county a little bit more on that than on my end and meeting up behind the scenes. So that will be brought up in the budget meetings, I believe, so. But that's where we are at. We're moving along. I know the county has passed their first reading, so. Thank you.
Okay. Chief Garrett?
Good evening. What I'm looking at, I believe there's some information in your package of pieces of property behind the fire department, which is an easement from veterans. I'd like to purchase that piece of property to add it to the fire department. They gave us a price of $500. Veterans is trying to get rid of a lot of their property. It's all over the place, and they basically have contacted us to talk to us about it.
That runs all the way from the alley to Walnut, right?
Yes, it's actually this a 25-foot partial that's behind the fire department.
And Chris has looked over the contract, right?
Yes, Chris has looked over the contract, and if it's approved tonight, he will probably work at doing the paperwork for the city.
And that will be used for,
Probably a parking lot, for starting off, extending the parking lot, park vehicles and stuff behind the station.
We thought we had a lot more property back there when we got it the first time, and it's full. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Well, we have those big trailers and stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
I
and
noticed,
stuff.
yeah. I wasn't criticism.
Oh, I know what you mean.
It's observation only. So
Yeah, no, we do.
I'm saying that, you know, that having an initial 25 feet, I'm sure is gonna be used. Yeah.
and you'll take that 500 from,
I can take it out of my account. I have an account that I can use up. We have the monies for that. So it won't cost, I'll just take it out of my budget.
It's an opportunity. Should not pass.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any other questions for Chief? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Ron's gonna talk to us about the paving, I think there's 4 projects.
Yes, sir. Good evening. I'm here this evening to review the city's proposed paving project for 2019. The Indiana Department of Transportation announced a while back that the second round of community crossing matching grant projects would be open for application. Applications opened around the 1st of July, and the applications closed last Friday. We put together 4 projects at various streets throughout the city, and I believe that all was in your packets. Generally, there are overlays of existing street. We did have one project that is something we call microsurface. It's really a sealing project with a fine aggregate in that seal coat. We've been wanting to do that for a few years here, and have concerns about the time necessary to close those streets in the event material cures so we can put traffic on it. And we now believe that that curing process can occur occur in a couple of hours, so it's doable. So if that project is approved, we will do a neighborhood with that and see what the results will be. As I said, the application period was generally the month of July. We made our submittal a little over 2 weeks ago. NDOT had told us that they would review those as soon as they came in, and they actually returned a couple of them and said, if you could make these changes, technical kinds of issues relative to their process, it'll give you a better chance. So we've actually had a couple of rounds of that, and we think we have good applications, and we remain very optimistic. Of course, that's not an approval. But we are optimistic that one or all of these, we ask for, the total of all of these is just a little over $1 million, our estimates. And not through the community crossing matching grant program would fund half of that. So we're asking for about $500,000 from the state, and the remaining $500,000 come from city funds, predominantly the motor vehicle highway account. We hope to receive notice of any awards we might get within the month, although no one has told us a definitive schedule for that to occur. Nonetheless, to be prepared, we have gone ahead and assembled these 4 sets of contract documents for bidding the work, with the idea that you all would open bids in your meeting next month, which will be the 3rd of September, the Tuesday after Labor Day. So we're trying to set all the pieces in place to be able to do that. We still have the option, if we are not awarded all 4 projects, we could either seek to find additional city funds to replace any shortfall of state funds, or simply not do one of the projects. But this will keep us moving forward as efficiently as possible. I will say that paving contractors have indicated that they're pretty busy. There's some amount of money because of community crossings and the next level project that NDOT's working with. So we might get some of this work done this fall, but realistically, we would not finish it all until next spring. But again, we'd like to first be in line and move ahead with anything that could be accomplished this fall. I have provided these contract documents to Chris for his review, and I don't know if you have any comments you care to add. So I'm here actually asking your approval for your recommendations for modifications to this, so that we could put these bids out, advertise them, put these contract documents out and advertise for bids, and be prepared to open those bids for the meeting next month.
So then if we don't get the funding, then what do we do?
Well, the easy answer to that is we simply don't award any of the projects that are not funded. Or as I said, if we can find our own money to make up the difference, we could go that route.
So all you're wanting this evening is permission to go ahead and be ready to go to bid if we
To open bid, I'm asking for permission to open bids next month. Not to award the work, simply to open bids.
And if we don't get the funds, we either can scale back using our own funds, or decide not.
If awarded any of these projects, we will want to do all of the work contained in each project.
Right.
But if we are not awarded one of them, we could say do half of that particular project with our own money, if that's what we like to do. We get some options in that way.
We have them in a certain order. I don't know if that's your order of priority.
The projects 1 through 4 was our priority for the projects. As we have to declare a priority when we submit it to NDOT, and that was the first priority.
I agree. The
Well,
locations were.
and we basically got all these locations from the assessment.
Right.
Our pavement asset management.
Yeah.
So it's not just
No, yeah, I
There.
agree.
It's, in fact, I drove on the street today, I thought, oh, we probably should be in there, but anyway, we'll work on that later.
We're hopeful that the microsurfacing, the slurry seal, if you will, is successful, because we have a lot of streets that are in pretty good shape that we can extend the life of with an application like this, and return on that investment. The cost of that is less than actual payment. And so if you have a pretty good street and you can extend the life another 8, 10 years, and spending a little bit of money, it's a good value, really good value.
And of course, the assessment was done prior to all of our,
We started 3 years ago.
yeah,
We've done it at least 3 years, and we redo
Redo it,
it
yeah.
every 2 years or less, but
Right.
every 2 years.
but I think the last assessment was completed before all the detours. So, what I'm saying is, there's a street that's gonna be that does need it because of the detour.
Right.
Eastern, for example, but it's not included here, but it can be the next thing, I hope.
It's a true planning tool in the sense that planning is about continually evaluating where you are and where you're going. So every 2 years, or less, if we see a street we think is degrading, we can assign new value to that street, re-rank it with everything else, and continually watch that to see where we think the best value for the expenditure is.
Okay, you want to hear a motion?
I'll make motion to move forward with the paving process for the bids.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you. We'll be back next month to see what contractors.
Thank you.
Okay, well, next we have Jeff Smith, St. Creek Force Main Payout.
I come before you to request the payout for Sand Creek force main replacement. They replaced the force mains in, totally replaced. The only thing they had to do is come back and do some groundwork restoration. The original contract was for $79,861. The pay applications was $73,073.95. We didn't run anything, we run the cost up very much.
So will there be additional cost for the groundwork?
Yeah, it's in the contract, they have to get that finished, and we'll have another payout before they
You're satisfied?
I'm satisfied, just get approval, I have never signed these copies.
You satisfied, Mayor?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
If Jeff's satisfied, I'm satisfied. He knows more about that
Yeah.
stuff.
They've done a nice job,
Good.
in and out for
I would move approval of, unless there's other questions. Approval of payout for the Sand Creek Force Main project, replacement project, $73,007.95.
Second.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So passed. Okay. Just one, or two. Thank you.
Won't get lost on my desk anyway.
Okay, Mark. Flatbed, flatbed trucks
Good evening.
bid.
We budgeted for the replacement of our 2008 flatbed truck. It's surplus well, 200,000 miles plus. We're starting to have some dependability issues. Mechanic's recommendation that it be replaced. I contacted the 3 local businesses for a vehicle. Unfortunately, the time of year hindered Don Meyer. They're stuck between the 19 and 20 years, so they can't price either right now. I don't quite grasp it, but I just listen. And we're gonna try to work with them in the future. We'll try to schedule this at a better time so that everybody believes what this will be. See 2 quotes in front of you. One is from Tom Civic Chevrolet, and the other one would be from Acra Dodge Automotive Group. I think they're pretty much self-explanatory. Unfortunately, we do plan on using this occasionally for like pulling the trailer, lawnmower trailer, things in that regard. So we want the trailer brake control for one truck. It can be bought as a separate item. If you'll notice on the Chevy truck, unfortunately, you have to take that convenience package to get that trailer control. So therefore, there's some other things that come with it, whether you specifically requested them or not. We've talked about them. There's a couple of them that would be nice to have. The rear window defogger, the mirrors for the trailers. We didn't spec it on the other one. They gave us what they had on theirs as a base model, and that's the one option that there is a difference in price.
$2,000. Do you have a preference?
Not necessarily. In other words, pardon?
As far as the vehicle or motor?
No, we took a request. We wanted the gasoline powered motor. The diesel fuel cost right now is outrageous. It's local. I don't think we drive enough miles to benefit from it with local travel. Like I said, we got the exact same interiors pretty much. Cabinet axle was critical. We put the flatbed on it as far as installation. I didn't want any confusion in that regard, so I actually went to the supplier of the flatbed and got a quote that would be the same for all 3 of them and negotiated that price. So the trucks are identical except for one's going to have more options on it. Yes, 1 or 2 of those would be very handy, but I don't know if they justify the $1,900.
What's your pleasure?
I would be willing to take it back and talk to the people who will be operating it, have further conversation with Danny. If you're comfortable that we could choose either, I will share the input that I gave from them. I'll talk to Dan about it and we'll make the call at that point in time. Either of you would be acceptable.
I think that would be a great option because, I mean, they're so close. That $1,900 is $1,900, I agree.
Yeah. With the safety mirrors and
Exactly.
defogger on the back window and stuff.
With the fact that we run it at 7 a.m. every morning, all winter long, being able to see is a great force down the back of it.
Might come in handy.
And the trailer mirrors would be very handy. But I don't know because we didn't have time to go back to Dodge and say, what would it cost to get these options? Well, this is the package where they all come and done. They might be able to put them on, and we'll check on that also.
What's Dodge's delivery?
I believe they said 10 to 12 weeks. The other one was what, 6 to 8?
Okay, I'll make the motion that we will approve the purchase of the flatbed truck. And we will approve both prices, and we will
How about just up to the what?
Okay, that's, okay, up to $35,425. Later will be the street superintendent and mayor.
Sorry, Mayor, I had to get you another
Okay,
job.
any other questions? Well, it'd be interesting, we'll give the other person a chance to add those things that can be done. We'll just see what it is. Not hearing any questions, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Okay, last month we had an employee is requesting another extension of 30 days on his leave of absence.